seated. Thank you. If you don't know, is this on? I think it's on. Can you hear me? Yeah, great. If you don't know me already, my name is Toby.
I'm Oscar.
Today we're going to talk to you a bit about our little trip to Uganda a few weeks ago, which hopefully you've heard a bit about. This is just a picture of us in front of Murchison Falls, so that was amazing. Kay's given me 10 minutes. I could do with half an hour, but we're gonna keep it nice and short this morning. So Oscar, if we could have the next slide.
So we stayed with Alex and Benny at Smile Charity Uganda. They're amazing hosts, so thank you to them. We can move on to the next slide. We got the opportunity to work at the Seeds of Love Park, which is the community park that Smile Charity own. We did some tiling, we moved some dirt, we planted some trees, we tried to get involved, but I'm not sure how much we actually did.
No, I think they're like machines out there. Just to say as well, thank you so much for the money you helped us raise a few weeks ago. You might remember we pulled a toilet along the seafront. We managed to raise about £3,500 for the work of Smile Charity Uganda. So, absolutely amazing. So the money we raised was used to buy materials to build the park, and I could see what just how amazing that was and how they've been able to move this park on. It's great to see. As part of our trip, sorry if we could go one back, Oscar, sorry I'm jumping around. As part of our trip we went and visited a school. Really incredible to see this school in such a difficult environment. They're still teaching these kids, and these kids are getting a good education. So that was really amazing to see. You can see on the right there, we also got the opportunity to visit the family of one of the children's Smile Charity Uganda sponsor, and I'll talk more about sponsorship in a minute, but they just welcomed us into their home, and it was such a privilege to be able to see them and hear more about their story. The little girl, sorry, go back one again, Oscar, sorry. The girl in the middle there, Howler, she is one of the children that Smile sponsor. Hear more about her in a minute.
We also visited a couple of churches. They have some pastors on their Pastors Discipleship Fellowship program.
PDF, that's not too confusing.
So we got to go talk to them, encourage them, pray for them. We have Pastor Matthew in the white t-shirt on the right, and Pastor Stephen in there somewhere. They're also doing a build project. It might not look like it, but they are. So yeah, it was good to encourage them. Had a bit of a worship time with them as well.
Yeah, it's amazing to see that we're both going through build projects at the same time, and yeah. We also, next slide please, we also were gifted a chicken. So yeah, everywhere we went in Uganda, we experienced amazing hospitality. So that's something hopefully we've learned and brought back here. Everyone in Uganda was just so welcoming, which was amazing. We did eat the chicken. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Okay, next slide, please, Oscar. Yeah. So if you know anything about Uganda and Kampala, the capital city, they have these things called boda bodas, which are like the taxi service of Uganda. Dad insisted we had to go on one. As you can see by my face, it was terrifying. Yeah, it was amazing though to spend some time in Kampala, and such a different city, so sort of sensory overload in a way, but also just so vibrant and amazing to see.
We also visited Esther, which was amazing, lovely to see. We visited the Akisa site, which I think we showed you last week. So it was great to see where they're going to be building their new facilities.
Yeah, and we, for child protection reasons, of course, we can't show pictures of, but we did go to the current site of Akisa as well, and we got to go around the different classrooms in the home and sort of see the work that Esther's been doing and training up the teachers to sort of serve in this really specific ministry. So that was amazing to see, but we don't have any photos. Also had a lovely meal by the Nile with Esther. That was nice. Good, next slide. We also managed to fit in a quick safari trip. So those are just some photos of the animals we saw. We amazingly got to see quite a few animals, which is just amazing to see God's creation in Uganda. It's just incredible. If you ever have an opportunity to go, please go and do safari. Okay, I am going to, in a minute, we're going to watch a video. I'm not going to say much about it because Alex has done a great job. So watch this and I'll talk a bit about it.
Hello, I am Alex again, and I am here to talk to you about the sponsorship program. And with the sponsorship program, I have so many stories that are life-changing. I would say that sponsorship is one of the most impactful programs, because we see child cross from hopelessness to hope. And one of the stories I have is Howla, who lost her father recently, but Smile is able to keep her in school, and she's able to access good education, a meal at school, stationery, basic medication, and uniforms. And we also have many other stories similar to Howla, who are on our waiting list, which is literally huge. Specifically, I'm thinking about James and Frank that need to get into school like immediately, as soon as yesterday, and we would appreciate people that can come up to help. Usually the sponsorship at Smile Charity Uganda costs just £35 per month, and that money would help us to keep a child in school, get a hot meal at school, have stationery and basic medication. And on top of that, it helps a child to belong to another family that supports them and loves them on top of the family that they have. So thank you so much. Pray about it and think about sponsorship at Smile Charity Uganda.
Yeah, so we had the privilege of going and meeting Howla and her family, and it was amazing to see firsthand actually sort of the impact that this sponsorship program has on the children that can't, for many different reasons and many different stories, can't have education, food and medication. So we've come back with a bit of a challenge. I hear, and there are lots of copies of them out in the foyer, which I encourage you to pick up. I've got a book, little booklet of 14 profiles of children that need sponsoring as soon as yesterday. And so we've got a bit of a challenge. I think it's probably quite ambitious, but it would be amazing if we could get, within our church family, get all of these children sponsored and into education as soon as possible. So I encourage you to pick up one of these booklets on your way out. We've got lots of them, so feel free to just grab one and see if you can think about actually whether you sort of are able to sponsor, or even just pray for some of the children in this book. Each child comes with a little story about sort of how they've ended up in the place that they are. And so pick up a book, have a read and think. Kay came up with a really good idea in the first service, so I'm going to steal it. She came up with the idea. So sponsorship is £35 a month. So Kay came up with the idea of, at church, we've got about 14 house groups, and there are about 14 kids. So we're thinking it would be awesome if each house group could commit to sponsoring a child. And then when you split £35 up between the house group, that becomes quite manageable. So I encourage you to chat with your house groups in the week to come, or sort of at the end of the summer when you meet again, and see if you'd be able to sponsor a child. So grab a book, come speak to one of us if you want more information. Thank you for listening. I'm just going to quickly pray before I hand back to Kay. Yeah. Lord, I want to thank you for the opportunity we've had to go and get our boots on the ground in Uganda, Lord. I want to thank you for the work of Smile Charity and how they're really impacting the community there. I want to pray specifically about the child sponsorship program, Lord, that you would help us know how we can best support those children that don't have access to education, Lord. I want to thank you for the lives of those children, and thank you for their different stories, Lord. I pray that you sort of put on our hearts what you need for those children. Lord, I also want to pray for Esther. I want to thank you for the work that she's doing, training those teachers. Lord, I want to thank you for the opportunity that they have to build a new site to help touch more lives in their community, Lord, in the community of Uganda, Lord. Thank you for the role that Esther has there, training up these teachers, Lord, to do your work. Thank you for this opportunity, Lord. Amen. I'm going to hand back to Kay, I think. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.